Before we begin, thank you very much to Will TWS for joining my Patreon campaign. Thank you so much for the support. It is very appreciated. I should not have said anything. I should not have said anything. On the previous video, I only had like one shout out to go and then I was caught up. And at the moment, my shout outs will now take me another 2 weeks to get through. You guys are insane and I love you. Like, I genuinely have no idea how to respond. I just updated the credit list for the outros, and I had to shrink the font to fit everybody. But I decided the 5th of the month is when I'm updating the list from now on. So if you're on my top tier list, you're in there now. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to be doing shout outs for a long time. All right, news roundup. Another week of Transformer news to catch up on if you've missed out, if you haven't been paying attention. All the news we're talking about, we're going to rip through this. And we start at one of my favorite places, which is brand new listings, which lets us speculate. Though this one is pretty straightforward. So the two that are obvious and blatant on this is 2 new retro listings. We know there's a ton of Walmart retro repaints on the way. And we've been trying to figure out what they're going to be. We got 2 of them. One is going to be Perceptor, and another is going to be Shrapnel. Not terribly surprising. These are, molds that we know still exist. They have been reissued by Hasbro and Takara, both in the past. Perceptor in animation colors is going to be interesting, especially given the fact that Perceptor's head sculpt does not match his animation model. So how they're going to make that work might be interesting if we get either a painted on or tampographed face, or something that happens extremely rarely, only 2 times I can think of, modern remolds on classic G1 toys. Don't know. It's interesting. And then we have Shrapnel. Okay, so 1 Insecticon, which means we're absolutely getting the other 2 at some point. I'm actually going to be interested to see if they replace the translucent plastic on that one with just solid yellow to match the animation model. I mean, that'd be the way to do it. Or they would paint the whole thing, one or the other. But it's going to be very different looking. And weird, because usually they reissue the Insecticons as a group pack because they're so small. Getting them one by one is going to be a little bit odd, but you know what? I like me some Insecticons. There's also a listing for a Transgen fan exclusive to Optimus Prime, which I'm pretty much speculating is going to be a repaint of the Holiday Optimus Prime. We know there's one on the way in the classic colors. Maybe that is going to be it. We will wait and see, but until now, that is what we get to speculate on. We also have these listings to go through. So this is pretty basic. We actually have listings for Transformers ReActivate toys, which includes a Voyager Optimus Prime and a Deluxe Soundwave. These are pretty basic descriptions, the usual stuff. Prime is described as 6.5 inches tall. Soundwave about 5.5 inches tall, so about normal size for both. What's interesting is that these are also marked as Transformers Shine and Transformers Rise, both previous names for Transformers ReActivate, the video game. Let's see. And what's weird is that these have the old product descriptions that do not describe the Legion as the main villain of the game, but the Quintessons, which thematically would make more sense, for Transformers. We don't know if they're just going by a different name to kind of hide the fact that it's the Quints, or if they had just a total change in storyline since these toys were created. It's more interesting to me that with all the changes that have gone through with that game, it seems like these descriptions have not changed at all, which is a little bit odd, but it is disturbingly, it is another line of Transformers we need to watch out for, on top of, a dozen lines that we have now? Yeesh. So, more on the way. Alright, let's get into the new stuff that we got to take a look at for the first time. We're going to start simple. We're going to start simple. We have exactly one picture of the Smash Changer Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beasts. It's a monkey. That's all I can really go off of right now. Big old gorilla. I mean, it's nicely proportioned. Like, it actually looks like a gorilla. Heads up, fists are down, etc. I can see where the robot mode head's peeking out. Smash Changers are interesting. I haven't picked up the Optimus Prime. I might pick up the Primal depending on how the robot mode looks, because it just looks like a fun gimmick. Just go bam, bam, bam. There's my robot. Not that I have a suitable flat surface for that. My desk is always covered with future projects. But you know what? It's an interesting gimmick. We don't know the robot mode. Literally, the only thing we've seen is the beast mode so far. But at the very least, it's a little bit more of an upcoming toy that we know a little bit more about now. How about we go to a different Optimus? Both in universe and in name. We have our first look at Earthspark Wave 2 Deluxe Optimus Prime. We just talked about the Warrior class on Random Review. Go watch that if you haven't. It's not a bad figure, actually. And this is going to raise that toy's design up to the Deluxe level. Now, keep in mind, Deluxe for Earthspark is still different than Generations Deluxes. Different building style, different standards. Now, we see a nice looking Optimus Prime. There's a few little gap things here and there, and it looks like the back end is still hollow. The rifle now fills it up. On the upside, the Energon axe is not exposed in this mode. It's a separate accessory, and it seems like the feet actually transform away, which is kind of rare on an Optimus Prime these days. The robot mode actually looks really nice. It looks better than the Warrior class one does. At least in some regards. The hands being like flip out on hollow forearms, that I'm not a big fan of. And the backpack does not seem to be as smoothly integrated as the Warrior class. It's interesting to me that the two toys are going to be roughly the same size and going for the same thing, but they're going to feel very different from each other, even though the transformation scheme, especially in the arms, still seems similar. I'm interested to see what this thing does differently from the toy I just reviewed. So that I'm looking forward to. Also, human leg. It comes with Mandroid's leg. I'm not going to judge it based on this. I want to see how it plays in hand. And I'm invested enough in Earthspark that I'm just going to grab this as soon as I see it. I just am. I'm just telling you right now. All right. We talked about the retro line, and now we get to talk about the next one that is on the way. It's a potato quality photo, but we actually know that the next one is going to be Thundercracker, and this gives us an idea of what they are going for with the other Seekers. We can see Thundercracker is in a much lighter shade of blue than his standard reissues, and better and more importantly for me, you can see that the side pieces, which on Thundercracker would normally be silver, have now been painted white to go as accurate to the animation model as possible. I really am fascinated by this. Starscream I saw. I know I have a Walmart in town with Starscream, and I could go pick it up right now. It's not quite different enough from G1 Starscream to really make me go, okay, I need both versions. But it looks like Thundercracker and Skywarp might be very different looking from their original toys. Thundercracker especially with the lighter blue. So those are actually more interesting to me than Starscream. Weirdly enough. I'm still fascinated by this like cartoon accurate repaint line of reissues. I think it's an absolutely great idea. I would really wish that they would dump more molds that I either liked better than the G1 Seeker or just figures that they haven't done in a while that fit the 86 movie theme of the packaging and release. Fingers crossed, because I do like where they're going with these things. Next up, so remember that Canon Transformer, that ridiculously expensive Canon, semi-device label-esque thing they did, one of their designer Transformers? Now you can get the evil version. We have a Nemesis Prime on the way with his own purple matrix that looks like a D20's been jammed into his chest. I love the idea of evil camera. It's funny to me. At the very least, it's gonna look better than the other two, just as a strict, just like aesthetic, way, because it's already jet black. It's already in Nemesis slash Scourge colors. Unlike Prime and Reflector, who just kind of have to go with it. So it's going to look cleaner. It's going to look more like the character. It's just hilarious to me that literally no Optimus Prime mold is safe from becoming a Nemesis Prime. No matter how ridiculous, no matter how little sense it makes, if you're an Optimus Prime, you're going to get a black and teal repaint at some point. It's just inevitable. Let's see. I don't believe we have anything else about this one. It's one of those potato quality Japanese photos. It looks like it's going to be announced on the 9th. According to this, which I think that's not even the only thing we have in this regard. So, we have this too. That's also dated for the 9th. We talked about this before. I did a video recently that's kind of inspired by this, but it seems like we're getting Kingdom Megatron and Optimus Primal in premium color editions. Megatron in particular looks like stunningly accurate to the cartoon. I love how this looks, especially in the Beast mode, where like it looks like the accents that Hasbro added to the Beast mode aren't there. It's just straight up how it looked in the cartoon. Primal, I'm not quite sure how much different he's going to be, but depending on that, I might make the upgrade. And hopefully this does well, because I would like to see that continue. We know plenty of characters in Kingdom, and then extending into Legacy, that absolutely could benefit from a premium coat of paint from Takara. I'm looking at Cheetor. Because there's 2 Cheetor releases, and both of them have elements that they should both have. It's annoying, but yeah, this is promising. This is really promising. I'm looking forward to the official announcement just so we get a really clear look at them. Another one, if you need something really expensive to buy, Robosen just announced their next robotic project, and it is a fresh, clean-looking G1 Bumblebee. Now, this one does not transform. It is just solely a rather cartoon-accurate G1 Bumblebee that can move and respond to your commands, respond to your app, etc., just like Robosen Optimus can. Just without the transformation elements, it might work a little bit smoother in the, since it's focused solely on being the robot mode. And it might come across cheaper that way, too, because it doesn't have to do nearly as much. So this might be a way of getting a lot of the interactivity parts without, getting into like the stuff that makes it super expensive. That's just me speculating, by the way. Stay tuned to this channel. You might hear more from Robosen. You might. I'm not saying anything, just we might have to talk about them again at some point here in the future. But hey, we have a Bumblebee on the way. Big surprise that we have more Bumblebees in the world to buy. Alright, so the next one is going to be something of a spoiler because it involves Earthspark Season 2. Because there was a trailer release that was a little bit of promotional material. So if you haven't seen the new episodes, or if you don't want to be spoiled in any way, shape, or form, just skip ahead until the visuals change. Once we start talking about the repaint of Omega Supreme, and once that big blue Guardian robot's on screen, then you're safe. All right, so 3, 2, 1, click away now. All right, we go into spoiler territory. So, Earthspark did both a promotional trailer and a trailer revealing a little bit of alt mode show off from the rest of the cast. This was released ahead of the new episodes, so it kind of spoiled some of the characters who show up, as well as the alt modes that the Terrans select. So, for instance, we get Breakdown, who is a race car. We get Hashtag in her mode. We also get we get a look at Tarantulas, Shockwave, who's a spider tank once again. We also get Nightshade in their alt mode, which is a super cool green owl. I love it. The big one in this little clip is Grimlock. So I mentioned this was spoiler alert, so this is one more warning. Skip ahead completely if you don't want anything. This is a clip from an episode we haven't gotten yet. So this Grimlock we see on screen, he never appears in robot mode in the new 8 episodes. And we don't get to hear Keith David's voice except in this little promotional bit. So if you want to hear Keith David's take on Grimlock, you get a small snippet in this preview, and that is it. We have to wait for the next batch of episodes to hear it properly, which frustrates me, because that was the casting I got so excited for, and I don't get to hear it yet, and it bugs me. It bugs me bad. We got to wait months for season 1C, which is annoying. But yeah, if you want to take a look, it's just a quick little thing. It's a quick little promotional thing. But yeah, you get to hear a little bit of Keith David as a Dinobot. It's amazing. All right, you're all safe now. You're all safe now. We're going to talk about the Guardian robot. We're going to talk about the Omega Supreme repaint. This is the next Titan class Generation Selects figure. It is the Titan class Guardian robot. This thing appeared in G1 in one episode. It is a Guardian of Cybertron that was, I believe, controlled by Shockwave in G1. And I could be mistaken. It's been a long time since I saw the episode. Essentially, in the cartoon, they reused Omega Supreme's animation model. They just kind of made it more round and dumpy. But it is essentially Omega Supreme in blue and white. And that is what we got here. So it's kind of a super deep cut to be doing a figure off of, much less a Selects, which is, essentially a online retail exclusive. So it's weird. It's a weird choice, but I understand why, because it's an obvious repaint. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. The blue, white, and gray, that works fine. It just kind of looks a little bit dull compared to a normal Omega Supreme. And because it wasn't a character itself, it was just kind of like a set piece, an obstacle for the Autobots in the show. I don't really have any connection to it. So I'm not really sure how much sway this is going to have on me. We also get his Micromaster partner. What did they name him? Lunar Tread, which is a repaint of Countdown. And it's still a little bit frustrating that Omega Supreme got a Micromaster when Legacy Metroplex from Cybertron didn't get a Minicon. Kind of annoying. But hey, it's another Micromaster to collect if you're into those. You just have to buy a $200 robot to go with it, That's all. So there you go. There you go. One more Titan. I might be skipping this one. This might be the one I've got every Titan, but I really don't have any interest in this one myself, but I know people who will. So there you go. All right, weird news section. This is the oddball stuff that just would normally slip through the cracks, but we're going to talk about it. Clackeys have shown off their artisan keycaps for Transformers. It is what it looks like. If you've got a keyboard that is compatible with custom keys, that is what this is. So you get your main 5. It's Optimus, Bumblebee, Megatron, Starscream, Soundwave, as these tiny little keycaps that you can just plug onto your keyboard wherever you want. It's a really weird luxury thing. It's a super weird luxury thing. Also, it looks like it would suck to hit Bumblebee's key. I don't know why those spikes are upturned, but that is unpleasant. Also unpleasant is the price. If you want a full set of 5, you're looking at $149.99 for 5 plastic heads. I'm sorry. That's a little extreme. That's a little extreme, Clackey. I don't know why you think you can get away with that, but apparently we're going with it. Granted, I don't know custom keyboard stuff, so maybe that's on par, but it seems ridiculously expensive for what it is. I feel like I could 3D print these things. But it's out there if you want them, because I know people will, because this is a very oddball thing. And to wrap us up for the day, if you weren't watching the Kids' Choice Awards, well, you missed out on a look at Optimus Prime's robot mode from the new movie, as he was accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. A fictional character won a Lifetime Achievement Award, not the actor behind it, the actual character. So this was just a very blatant tie-in and advertisement for Rise of the Beasts, because they had the gigantic logos scrolling all the way across the screen while they did this. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird thing. So I have not watched the Kids' Choice Awards since I was a kid, so I kind of got to wondering, well, like, Lifetime Achievement Awards for fictional characters is weird. I wonder who else has won this. The award has been given out a total of twice. And the first time they gave it out, it actually went to a writer named Dan Schneider, who has since left Nickelodeon and has had a few accusations against him. But in this regard, he was a real human being, because the Lifetime Achievement Award was supposed to be for Nickelodeon employees behind the screen. They gave it away once, waited 9 years, and then gave it to Optimus Prime. Remember, it's just a tie-in with the movie. So, that is the oddest thing that happened this week, and that's your news roundup. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you are now completely caught up on your Transformers news, and as always, I will see you next Monday to talk about whatever else happens to come up this week. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting. It means the world to me. And I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.